All right, everyone. Let's see here. Okay, can you hear me? That's good. It's always a good place to start. Now let's do this and then do that and do that guy. Let's size this up while we let people come in. All right, that's okay. And I'll move that over there a bit and keep me, keep me over here a bit and make me a bit bigger. So I moved around the office a little bit. Hey, Sam, how's it going? So that's working. That's good. So let's do this and then we'll go full cam. Perfect. All right. So we're good to go. I think everything's working. I think you can see me, and I think you can see everything that's going on my screen there whenever I switch back, and you can hear me, which is the most important bit. I can hear myself, so let me get rid of that because that's annoying. Cool. So how's everything going, everyone? This market is less fun than the one that we've been dealing with in recent time, but that's okay. The color balancing here is way off. But, oh well. I'll figure out lighting and stuff down the way. I got Dan on my screen. Yeah, so again, welcome. If you guys are new here, we missed last week. Essentially what we do in this stream is we look at the markets. We figure out what the markets are going on right now. We figure out, oh, Dan, I get it. Ticker. We figure out what's going on in the markets. What I see is going on in the markets, which may be different than some, but that's okay. From there, we take a look at the shorts videos. So on the channel, I know most of you are probably old fogies here, but people that stumble across the videos, I do these short videos of stocks that I'm watching. I do one longer video about a trading topic. Books is what we're going through in the last couple of weeks of things that I think that will help your trading. From there, we do these live streams where I take 1 hour is all I'm allowed. And we just, again, talk about the markets, talk about the shorts, talk about scan what we're looking at for next week, wrap it all up, and then we move on. So going to start doing more of the longer form content type of thing as well. I know that's something that some people do like. To be honest, without being sound too sellouty, the shorts really are the things that people are watching. So that's what I'm doing right now. A video that takes an hour to record, an hour to edit and upload, and all of this about books is, it's 50 to 100 views. Those 30-second videos of what stock I'm interested in are getting 400 or 500. So, I'm going to do whatever is interesting to you guys without selling my soul, essentially. And that's what we're going to be taking a look at. So again, welcome. One thing that YouTube always yells at me is just hit the like button. Man, that kills my soul when I say that. But that's what they tell me to do to help promote my channel. So let's do that. And then let's get right into it. I see we've got 10 or so in there already. So I think that's enough to get started. I like to give people some time to roll in while I ramble on. And then again, I love community interaction. So ask questions. Let's chat while I do this, because most of it's just scanning through charts, right? So the more I chat with you guys, the better. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is the rotation that's going on in this market. It's been happening for a while. A lot of people are getting frustrated that the market is hitting all-time highs and their portfolios are not. So I want to talk quickly about why I think that's happening, and what you can do about it, and what I'm personally doing about it as well. Jeez, this thing's getting gray. I'm getting old. So first things, what the hell's going on with this market? So first I'm going to go to Koifin here, and then let's do this, and let's go Koifin. Again, I'm not affiliated with these guys the way I am with pretty much everyone else you'll see, but I think this is a great free. I don't know how they make money, and that kind of unnerves me a little bit, but there's a lot of really cool data here. So if we take a look at what's been going on year to date in the individual industries and why it's probably more difficult in some cases for people to make money in this market is the rotation that's going on here. If we take a look at technology, right down here, essentially I'll explain this chart first. It looks kind of gross, but this is a line chart of every sector that makes up the US market, right? So there's healthcare, industrials, technology, consumer discretionary materials, financials, real estate, communications, utilities, consumer staple, and energies. Those things together make up the US market. So if we take a look at what's doing well, that's obvious with these two things, which is energy and financials. Those are boring stocks. Those are very slow, boring stocks to trade. If we take a look at, for example, consumer discretionary, which is shit that you buy for fun, that's not doing very well. If we take a look at technologies, that's not doing very well. If we take a look at communications, it's doing better, but not great. Now we take a look at energy, that's up 28%. Right, we take a look at consumer staples, which is the most boring, right? Consumer staples, think like pants and toilet paper and food and like the most basic stuff. That's doing better than most, right? Industrials is doing great. Communications, again, okay, but not as good as it should. But the real story is look at energy and how well it's doing, and then look at consumer discretionary and technology and its relative strength to those things. So what ends up happening is you get what everyone's like, man, I should be killing it right now because the SPY is cranking to all-time highs here. Again, it doesn't really matter too much if you're trading the stuff that we are used to trading in this market now, which is high growth names. Where if we look at, things that are more chill, usually Chevron, right, is doing well. TPX, mattresses are doing well. LEVI, Levi's, right, pants is doing well. So, right, the rotation out of excitement and into shitty and boring. So how do you deal with it, right? And this is, again, I started with this because I'm hearing a lot of this on Twitter and a lot of my own clients. Again, I mentor traders, links for the softwares you'll see me use, and everything is down below. And then as well as my website is down below there as well, statstrading.com, below or beside or around, I don't know, somewhere around there. So I'm hearing a lot of people not having a good time, I guess, with a lot of this stuff, and that's fine. So the two things to adapt to is that Koifin thing that I just showed you, focus on those sectors, right? Right now, focus on trading energy, retail, pants, toilet paper, right? The boring stuff. Focus on trading the boring stuff right now. And at the same time, focus on the boring names of the boring stuff, right? And that will get you part the way there. Oh, that's much better if I do that, isn't it? There we go. The other way to deal with it is to start to take profits way quicker as things get choppy. And to do this, I monitor myself the VXX. So if you don't know what the VIX is, quick summary, it's volatility index. Some people call it the fear index. It is essentially how worried is the public? How worried is the public? It's the amount of puts that are being bought on the SPY or on the S&P 500. The more people are buying puts, the more they're worried about a crash or a correction, right? So the higher the index and the lower, the less the index. This has just been on a complete fall apart downturn for so long. Volatility's mean reversion. Maybe it's meaning people are getting complacent. Who knows? But what it means more than anything is that the market is going to be less volatile, because if nobody's scared, nobody's selling, things aren't moving as quickly as they normally would. So focus on this. What I am personally doing is in low VIX environments, I take profits way quicker. And there's one, I don't think this was a short. Before we get into the shorts, I'll talk to you about the trade. You can see I still have a stop here on Romeo. Essentially, I bought Romeo right about here, somewhere in this kind of area. And normally, right, I would want to see it climb, kind of at least to here, but more up in this area before I'd take any. But I took out part like right here. And now that it's come back, I actually bought more on Friday's close. And then if it gets back into this area, I'll sell again. So just be quicker with part of your profits. Understand that it's not like a high volatility environment, in which I generally tell people in high volatility environments to pare way down and to set your profit targets where you would, but understand those profit targets will occur quicker. In low volatility environments, it's more about even size up, but take profits really quick, right? Tighten the stop and take profits really, really quick, because in low volatility environments, you see a lot more of this. In high volatility environments, you see a lot more of this. And people get afraid of high volatility environments, but as traders, that's what we want. These lower chops is where things get a little bit more complicated. So first question from Sam, some half, I'm doing half myself. Again, to each their own. The most common I've seen is half and thirds. One mentor of mine, Brian Shannon from Alpha Trends, if you haven't checked him out, you certainly should. He does thirds, right? He'll buy it, buy 1,000 shares. He'll be out 300 shares maybe on the first pop, 300 shares in the second pop, and then maybe hold the rest for the trend to change against him. For me, I'm just doing half. Part of it is the laziness and the easiness of just the half button that's built into Trade Ideas, where I can just highlight the position, slam that button real quick, and move on with myself. Let me actually sign out of here so we don't show anything we shouldn't. But that's what I'm doing. So with Romeo, again, I was in here. I sold half here. And I reloaded here. And then we'll see, either I'll be stopped out. Net, I made more than the $400 I'm risking on the rest of this, on this out. So net, I turned it into a break even type of thing, right? But it's just not normally, again, if you guys follow me, I normally use, the only moving average you see on my chart is this ADMA. And it's because I normally like to move this as a trailing stop. However, again, things are just happening just way, way too quick for that kind of thing. So that's again, if the people only stick around for the beginning, I wanted to kind of go over with them what I'm doing in this environment to attempt to help with issues that are going on, which are, again, issues for most people. So next, before we get into the markets, let's go through these shorts from last week. And again, I need someone who understands how YouTube works. Why'd that get 500 views and that one get 40 and that one get 500? I had no idea. So first was GMBL. And I was looking at GMBL. Let me load up the video just to make sure I'm not talking out my ass. Send you the screenshot of the, oops, right here, right? So this was more of the same, right? So essentially what I was looking at JMBL is, hey, let me know what you want the screenshot of there. the videos, but we'll see. Anyway, so the was looking at this downtrend line, looking to see if we broke out the next day, which we did. I got involved some here and then stopped out, break even a little bit the next day when it just didn't. It did this tweezer top, which is the one, the thing I wanted to talk about with this is if you look at this pattern right here, that's called a tweezer top, in which it's, these two highs are equal and they're both wicks, right? So it makes like a tweezer pattern. When I saw that and we started to sell back down, I just got out the rest. A small loss in that one. No complaints there. Well, it's not fun, but that's fine. SFIX, I already know I'm still in. So FSIX, basically looking at this rounded bottom going on in through here, and right declining trend line and through there. 15% short float. I remember this one had a bigger short float. Nice looking company, right? If we look from, or nice looking stock, if we look from here, you can see the breakout period is so far acting as support. And if you go way back on the monthly chart, you can see that that area right there is acting as support right here. That's interesting to me. This one I'm still in, right? I bought this, I think, the day after I posted it, and I've just been sitting in it here ever since. May add if we kind of break and clear this area, right? But it's, not too much happening from there. XM, I'm still in as well, right? You can see my stop loss right here. XM was the same kind of thing. We had this tightening going on here and the support right here. If we run an anchored VWAP from the IPO, and an anchored VWAP is just where is the average participant in XM, they're all the way up here. So this may act as resistance, but if we can get from 42 or 32 to 42, I'll take it any day of the week. But again, you can see I'm here. I'm basically going to stop out under these lows. The hope is that this apex of this triangle breaks this way, and you get some profit out of that. And the last was XNet. And XNet I didn't do anything with, but I actually still like the look of. So the theory of XNet was that we had this kind of base going on right through here, a bit rounded. The fact that it was picked up, I don't like this for sure. I don't like it. Chinese companies worry me a bit. No offense, but it's just there's been a lot of history of regulatory problems, right? Lying about accounting statements, things like that, which makes them drop precipitously. But XNet I still like if we can get and hold above this base. It kind of tried there on Friday, but let's make this a 30-minute chart for now. You can see that kind of, it spiked. I was watching it there, and then it just crashed back down. So if I had just put out the limit order right here, I would have been triggered. It wouldn't have been down very much, but it was just a Friday, right? I don't want to do that kind of stuff on Friday. I would do that in the other one. Yeah, I actually got XNet from our channels. And again, if you guys are new to Trade Ideas, this little Trade Ideas thing, where this bar right here is our channels. They're pre-built channels in which we have scans built into them. So I actually found XNet from this one, which was an NFT blockchain related type of thing. Bitcoin, I think, hit near. I don't think it hit an all-time high this weekend, but it got near it. So it might be interesting if you did buy, you might get a gap on Monday. But basically, I'm looking at this thing went from 4 to 12. It pulled back into 6, right here. On this time, it couldn't close a week below 6, and then it rallied again. It closed at 6. So if I can even get it from, call it 7, a break and hold over 7, if I can get that to 9 or 10, that's a great trade. But yeah, that was it for this week. Very kind of hey Marcus. Very kind of a chill type of information where I'm actually going to grab this screenshot. Any help with my YouTube will certainly be. I need to find a guy. I need a guy who knows. Let's just do, can I just paste? Is YouTube smart enough if I do that? Nope, they're not. Okay. That's fine. I just thought I might be able to paste that right in there, but that's not how that works at all. So I got to bring the chat back up. I'll do like a imager or something. Yeah, let's just do IMGR. So now that we've done what those shorts were, and that, again, I hope makes sense, and how, again, I've traded them, which is basically what I lost money in one, and then the rest of them I either did nothing or I'm in, and that's pretty indicative of my swing trading this week. Day trading has been much better, and that's something I'm more or less focused on, in which the everything I'm doing right now is just shorter in nature, because it's a crazier, not crazier, it's a lamer, it's probably a better way to put it, environment, in which nothing's really happening that well. So I'm just going to take them and kind of move off from there. Email it to me. Okay. So again, that's the adaptation you need to take. And that's the adaptation all traders need to take. When things are working, you step on the gas. When things aren't working, you step on the brake. You look for a little, a way around it. And for me, it's been, again, scalp quickly, super quick, or make sure you're, focusing on more short-term trading. And that's actually a new scan that we're going to go over that I'm using now here, which is actually looking for stocks at support, which is more or less a way that I'm trading now, in which, things are, they make a little bit more sense when they're flagging like that, and when they're chopping around, to look for, instead of the breakout, which are failing, look for the support. And you'll notice a lot of the stocks that I looked at, XNet and XM and these type of things, same type of thing, right? So I'm looking at Life here, and it's holding $4. Now, in a more volatile environment, I would look for stocks that are kind of holding high bases to push higher. In these choppy type environments, I want to buy support so that I can quickly, hopefully, be in profit, take out part, and then if it comes back down, break support, then that's fine. Right? So it's a little bit of a adaptation that I'm doing in my own trading. And again, that's why robots haven't figured it out. Right? That's the reason that we can still trade, is and robots haven't ruined our game entirely, is because they're not very good at things like context and things like this. So, we should be thankful for that. So let's take a look at the markets. So let's go to, I keep forgetting what I call this. Do I just call it ETF? No. All right, let's just grab it. So let's just do it via Trend Spider then. Have I watched Coded Bias? No. Is that a documentary, though? I love documentaries. So again, this platform, let's do it. I got to get rid of Jump Desktop, Windows, Remote, Send Control, Alt Delete, Task Manager. Get rid of this Epic Pen. Yeah, I like that one. Yeah, I'll check it out. Let me write that down. Coded Bias. Let's go from here, and let's go my watch list. All right, so this is the watch list. Bitcoin, I'll look at Bitcoin because most people want to check that out. But really just, I don't know why that candle's bad, but really just kind of been chopping around. Nothing really to be said right now, right? We've got a downtrend line that's looking like this, and then we've got an uptrend line that's looking like this, right? So if we hold above this higher, then that could be another leg up. If not, we'll figure that out. SPY, again, this is going to go quick, right? Because usually I go through the weekly chart and then I go through the monthly chart, but the daily chart is really telling the tale, right? Weekly just opened at the low of the week, closed at the high. So I really want you guys to focus on that candle, right? It's rare, I think, to have something that basically opens right at the low and then closes right at the high, and at least not try to push a little higher. Whether or not it holds, who knows? I would be shocked if we don't even try to move higher from here. And then same with this candle Friday, right? Open at the low, close at the high. So again, we're just going down the list. We'll go down, and this is how I get my kind of overview of the market as a whole, is just start checking these out. XLB, which is our materials ETF, again, strong uptrend. The volume shelf here on the side is making sure everything's holding. XLC, which is our communications, again, at highs. XLE actually pulled back a little bit this week, so it makes for a little choppy market. And the thing that, now that I'm looking at this on XLE, is look at this volume. The gray here is our volume shelf. So it basically just means the amount of volume per given price. An amount of volume per given price showing that there's a lot of participants in this area right here. Let's call that, 50 to 49, 49 to 50. That's interesting. And again, we've got this rounded type of top pattern. So this may be the end for energy in a little bit. And we close below the VWAP from this last part. So again, I'm taking notes always here on the other side. And one of my notes so far just says energy might not be looking the best. This is why I run this analysis, because before, energy's been outperforming all year. Things change, time to move on. Financials look like they're going to break out, which is great. So that's very, very bullish. XLI, same thing, holding strong. XLK is technologies. That just cracked into a new high here. Even though the Qs didn't make a new high, they made a new closing high. But technology is doing well. XLP, consumer staples, which is usually the least volatile of the group, is still flagging here. You really get a real look when you look deep like this. XLU, utilities, XLV, that's looking like it could push higher. Yeah, there is absolutely nothing that I saw in that scan that would indicate any sort of bearishness to me at all. So I am going to go into the week. Other than energy, that didn't look the best, I'm going to go into the week continuing to be bullish, understanding that we're in a bullish market, but we're in this, slow grind bullish market. So that may make a big difference when it comes to what I'm going to focus on. But, I always like to go and look at it and say, okay, what is the market doing, right? If we're going to pull back on the SPY, I always like to note this as well. Here's an area of interest, and here's an area of interest, right? We've got this consolidation that's happened in through here. That's also where the ADMA is going to be. It's also where a volume shelf looks like it's going to take place. And then here on our breakouts, right? Anytime you break out, when you come back and test that, you watch to see if the breakout point holds or whether it doesn't. Because if the breakout point holds, then you're basically it's a continuation of an uptrend. If that breakout point doesn't hold, right, that's when it's time to maybe watch your ass. Maybe we're going back into a range. So that's interesting. Let's link these charts up. Oops, not that one. Let's go external linking, and we'll add a link in which we pop those two together, and we click on that, and we click here, and we go okay, and okay. We'll go from there. Do I look at the Bollinger Bands on the SPY? I do look at Bollinger Bands. I like them as an indicator. However, make sure there's a misconception out there that Bollinger Bands are revision to the mean in nature. I've met John Bollinger. I've talked to him. And this is just, you don't have to talk to him to know this. It's well known. They're not designed to be a revision to the mean strategy. They're designed to be a breakout strategy, right? So let's actually add that was a name drop right there. Right, so the way Bollinger Bands were designed to be used and the way they were designed to be created is that essentially they're a volatility metric, right? So as volatility is contracting, the Bollinger Bands are narrowing. As volatility is expanding, the Bollinger Bands are expanding as well. So this riding the top end of the band, John Bollinger would consider this incredibly bullish right here. Now, the only time I've seen revision to the mean work with Bollinger Bands is when it's in the trend direction. So, for example, buying the touch of the Bollinger Bands as we're going higher would be good dip buys. Just be very careful. A lot of people think that they want to sell the top and buy the bottom. And the way they're drawn, it looks like that happens more than it doesn't. So, you know, just be careful, right? A lot of people, they think they got to sell at the top of the band and buy at the bottom. This is actually there's a perfect example right here on the SPY. And this is the trade that John Bollinger probably would have taken himself. And you can see here how this is tightening at the same time this is tightening, right? So the upper band is decreasing at the same time the lower band is increasing, just showing that the amount of volatility is congesting. Then when you get a breakout and a close above the upper Bollinger Band right here, that would be your entry price. And this riding the Bollinger Band, he would like. Where he exits would be right in here, where we can no longer reach the top of the Bollinger Band anymore. He considers that an early sign to exit. And again, it's just one of those things that I see people being taught that, again, they're a mean reverting mechanism, and they're not. They're meant to be a trend following mechanism. And they're also one of the main reasons he created them was to stay out of choppy markets, right? His theory being that if you're moving sideways and the bands are moving sideways and you're just bopping between those bands, there's really not a lot of money to be made. You want to see them break and then continue to ride that band. So if you're looking for a top here on the market and you want to use the Bollinger Bands to do it, again, trade your trade. If what you're doing is working, just do it, right? Just don't listen to me, for sure. But what John Bollinger would look for is a couple of days where we could no longer touch that Bollinger Band. And for those couple days we couldn't touch that Bollinger Band, that's when you would probably look to exit as long. Last thought on mean revision. It can be done. Be careful, and wait for a kind of a strong try anyway. If you're a mean reverting person, which, trade your personality for sure. Just try to look at buying the lower Bollinger Band in the direction of the trend and selling the upper Bollinger Band in the direction of the trend, right? So you would have bought here and sold here, and then you would have bought here, and then you would have sold here, right? You would have bought here, you would have sold here, type of thing. It's just, if you want to mean revert with a lot of people, it's very natural for some reason for humans to want to do mean reversion trading. If you focus your mean reversion trading on the direction of the trend all the time, I don't want to guarantee you, I'm fairly certain that your returns will we'll do better. And let's leave the Bollinger Bands on for the scan just to see. Can I ask you to take a look at the Bollinger Band working on for Wednesday noon session? I'm trying to scan for the midpoint of the Bollinger Band to find the breakout. Okay, so yeah, for sure. Sam, how about you send me the link of what you're working on? I'll take a look at it sometime before the Wednesday session, so I'll have it for the Wednesday session, and then I will respond to your email with the screenshot there. That will look good. Just FYI, the midpoint of the Bollinger Band is a 20-period moving average. If that helps, that's just, it is what it is. So for sure, send that to me. But yeah, the 9 times out of 10, unless you do some sort of, the default on any charting platform for Bollinger Bands is a 20-period moving average, plus or minus 2 standard deviations is how they're calculated. Okay, so we did the shorts. We talked about the markets. We did the analysis of the market. Everything's looking bullish, but slow bullish. So we want to, get in and out quickly, or take a very long-term mindset where we just sit back and play the slow grind, which I should say is another way to deal with it. So if you're in a slow grind and say you normally use a 10-period moving average as a guide, if you use a 20-period moving average as a guide, it will help out for sure. So let's scan for what we're going to make the short about at the end of today. And then I make that short and I upload it. And then I'm going outside because the window's right here. You guys, I don't know, you may have noticed everything's turned. Jess needs her own workspace now for stuff she's doing. So we've moved that around, and now I have to stare at the window the whole time, and it's beautiful outside. So at 3 Eastern for sure is when I'll be calling it. So we need to find the stock that we're the most interested in for Monday's trading. And I'm leaving the Bollinger Bands on here just to let's use them, right? I ranted about them for a while. Let's use them. Let's get rid of this and let's just use the bands and let's see. So this scan actually up here, and before people ask, I can't share it. I'm sorry. There's just so many customs in it. Whenever I get off my ass and I make this membership service, which again will be $50 a month, we'll chat about it a bit at the end. I want a bit more feedback from you guys, which again will be, I want to give you hundreds of dollars a month in value for $50 a month. And then I'm going to cap it at 100 people and we'll see how it goes from there, type of thing. But this scan is actually looking for what some people refer to, I guess, as a Ttm squeeze, which is when the Bollinger Bands are inside the... Okay, that's that. Where is the... Oh, I just do that to get rid of the RSI. There we go. Basically looking for when the bands are squeezing. So you can see that, again, as I talked about, this band is getting tighter, and then this band is getting tighter, right? So the same time that would have occurred right back here, right? That band was getting tighter and that band was getting tighter. A breakout of it would have given you a little bit of profit, not too much. Same thing's occurring here. So I really like the look of this DVAX. So far, that's going to be our number one category. Let me just grab, I just want to put a note in here in which I just go new note, punk, and then just make, so Dvax, so far our number one candidate. And then I'm always just going to move that, make sure that heart is clicked and trade idea is great. Because that heart will just tell me that it's actually to that. I'm going to bring this chart up here. It means it goes to my like list, and that's what it gets traded earlier. Oh, that's what you meant earlier. Yeah, so that is... So again, Sam, fire me an email with what you're working on. I can send you the customs, and if anyone wants to email me You can go to www.statsedgetrading.com. There's a email, contact me, book a session. You don't need to book a session. You can just email me through there. But yeah, so what the TTM squeeze basically looking just for when the Bollinger Bands are getting tight, and then you're looking for a break of them. So that's what I'd look at Dvax. So this scan basically just has a bunch of stocks that are in this squeeze mode in which they're getting tight. So then what I do is I look for technical patterns. So for example, MDRX, here's another one that's interesting looking, in where you can see this is the width of the Bollinger Bands before, and this is the width of the Bollinger Bands now, right? How much tighter that is. Now I drew, so I must have analyzed this one before, an anchored VWAP from this high. So again, an anchored VWAP. And if you guys are interested in any of these indicators, I have a playlist on my channel. Go on the channel, go back. There's anchored VWAP, Bollinger Bands, Keltner channels, RSI, moving averages, how to use them, what the premise is behind them, how the math works, all of that. So an anchored VWAP just tells you where the average participant is for a stock at a certain level. The average participant for MDRX is right here. So right at about 16, ish bucks. And also one thing I like is look at the last time there was a squeeze, right? When the Bollinger Band squeezed right here and it got real tight and then it busted. Look at that continuation that happened. And you can see if you had tried to play revision to the mean here, that would have been bad. But as it hugged and hugged and hugged and hugged the upper Bollinger Band, that was great. Second, it couldn't get to the upper Bollinger Bands anymore. That's where the exit point is. That would have been a great little trade. So maybe that will happen again. So we'll watch that one. So far, I do like the look of Dvax better. INFN. Oh man, you probably guys noticed me doing this. I've got one of these. I don't know if you guys care about the personal stuff or you just want to see trading. It's one of these posture fixer things. Oh man, you don't know how bad you're slouching until you pop one of these guys on. So yeah, all of these you can notice that these bands are getting tight. INFN is interesting because of the short float there with a 12% short float. So, right, let's, look at a VWAP to, there, great up, right? All right, so we're under the VWAP from our recent highs. So that's interesting. Man. A lot of stuff looking good, eh? Yeah, I try to fight the A. I try to fight the Canadian A, but it just doesn't work out too well. So again, I should say that this is the best point for community interaction, where if you guys have any questions, you want to shoot shit about the market, this is a good time because I'm just scanning, right? And for the next, we've got 15 minutes left. I'm going to scan. At the end of 15 minutes, I'm going to pick the best stock and go the hell outside. And you're looking at pins. Let's look at pins for you. And I can do analysis on those type of things as well. And again, pins is another example of what John Bollinger would have built his bands for, right? So this getting tight, and then you can see it breaks and close. So this would be your entry point. And as it's hugging this band, you're staying long. If it can't hug its band anymore, that's when he would exit. But really, I look at this and I say, okay, well, we're up. An indicator is just an indicator. And you guys know I don't use indicators very much. So I look at levels, right? This level right here is an area of resistance. I wouldn't be shocked if we pull back off this a bit, maybe then get through, who knows. The trend is obviously higher, so you don't want to battle that, but we are battling this resistance area, so I would watch that one. Triple D was a big deal back in the day. I used to trade the crap out of this thing. At support, you could take a support play here, right? It's condensing. It's getting tight here. The Bollinger Bands are squeezing. got a lot of volume below, so you could just pop a support play right here. You know, I like plays that I know where I'm wrong, and this is one of those that you know where you're wrong. If we get under this area, you're wrong. It's bad news. Get out. You know, the question would always be, why hasn't it participated when the market was running? Again, we know why, because it's a higher volume kind of a thing. Yeah, looking at support and wedge, same thing I saw. So, right, one of those things you could just take a shot near support, and you know when you're wrong, and that's kind of the best case scenario as a trader. If you know when you're wrong, you just then size the trade appropriately, right, based off your risk tolerance and your conviction, and whatever your risk management plan is. But you know, again, I only take trades where I'm very, very clear. It's like, I'm wrong if this, right? Yeah, that top little bit with this scan looked great, but yeah, it's not much else from there. All right, so now we're into like the 4 or 5% short floats. So I'm just gonna switch over to this guy. Where is it? And you can see usually this is when I go to my A table scan. However, that's just not been, it's not been where it is recently. So I'm going to go to the support scan. And again, I'm going to look at, so TBIO at support, kind of interesting. This life I was watching, and this is very interesting to me. Again, we're getting a bit of tightening here, right, in through here. You know, as this candle gets wiped out, when, you know, 20 days goes by, it's going to get tighter. But you can see if I go way, way back and I just draw, actually, why don't I just do this in the platform? So if I go back and I draw a line like there, you can see, right, resistance, resistance, resistance all through here. You can see support all through here, support all through here, and support through here. So life is interesting. I'm going to add that one in just because of the how tight it is in there. So if we get under $4, like, I know I'm wrong, right? So I can buy life here. I can get out under $4. Same kind of, I took a trade on FTK. Yeah, I took a trade on FTech earlier this week for the same reason, right? You can see that this area of support was huge for a long time. We dipped down under, popped back up, and that held. Now it looks like we may push higher, so I just bought some here. I know that if we get in this area, I'm wrong, so I move on with my life. Again, best kind of trades for sure. RF. Yeah, RF was the trade of the week last week, I think, right? Yeah, that still looks good. That's getting tight, and you can see a flat upper band there, right? Resistance in through here. Yeah, RF looks good too. So far, Dvax, what I've got written down, is the most interesting. So, you know, this support scan, right? It is very hard to mathematically quantify support because it's going to be different for everybody. Oh, this is interesting. But, like, you know, look at lift. So what I talk about, if you were going to use the bands for revision, right? You're better at buying when it gets outside, you know, the trend of lift is higher, right? So buying the low end of the band here would have been great. Maybe buying the low end of the band here would also end up being great. So I'm going to watch that one. Probably not going to be the short video this week, just because it's support, revision of the mean plays are a little bit, they're more nuanced, right? You want to bid in a little bit, and then, you know, maybe add if it starts to push off your level, and then add more if it breaks out. It's a little bit more again, nuanced to trade, whereas something like a breakout is buy it as it's breaking out if it doesn't go for you right away, you get the hell out and move on with your day. But yeah, when you're buying pullbacks and you're playing support and stuff, this is a little bit more of a nuanced type thing. So it's more or less what I would go through with my lesson. Cron is interesting. Cron's a dope stock, right? I remember that right. Pharmaceutical, not pharmaceutical. Yeah, Cove. As a Canadian, I can say the Cove stuff's pretty good. Okay, so that's Cron. What is the RSI? Okay. Okay, so I like the look of Cron here too. Same kind of thing, right? We've got let's go back and let's go to here, right? Resistance, important area. Let's say support, support, support. Downtrending line like this, right? If we break that, maybe that's a continuation. 12% short float, earnings long time away. Pretty low float too. Okay, Cron I'm going to add to as you know, 1 or 2 in the running. Yeah. So this one I have sorted by relative volume because I want to see high relative volume when we hit support, which is the different from the other one. 970, yeah, I think. Okay, so now, right, we're getting lower than normal volume here. It's not what I want to see. So that's going to be it for the scanning. So we have 2, and then we'll do some questions, and I want to show you what I'm working on with the service because I know anybody who shows up at the end of the live stream is probably going to be a diehard. Yeah, so Cron 970 would probably be the area I would watch. You know, if you take a downtrend line like that and you look at it and you say, well, yeah, so, you know, you kind of want to look at it above this high, right? So again, I said support playing is nuanced, right? So what I might do is say I want 1,000 shares of Cron, or I want to put 10 grand into the position, right? I would maybe buy a couple hundred shares right here. If we open and we kind of hold tomorrow, I may buy a couple hundred shares there, maybe 500 with a tight stop right here. And if it breaks, you know, it breaks and it comes back, I may rebuy, right? It's nuance. And then what would happen is as we break that, maybe I'll buy another couple hundred shares. And then as we break this level, I may buy another couple hundred shares. So what ends up happening is my average price is kind of in this area and my stop is in this area. But I was able to, you know, kind of maybe scalp in to some as opposed to buying it all right here. And again, that's just because in this market, what I'm seeing with my own trading, and I know I'm not alone with this, is a lot of buying things as they do this, and then they just do that again, right? Where if you can work into a little bit better of an average price, again, this doesn't work with breakout trades. So the other one that I'm looking at, which is Dvax, this would very much be a, you would look for it over these recent highs, right? So you'd look at it over 1050-ish, and you would just punch in at 1050, right, with a stop at 950. So you're risking $1. You're hoping you can make to 1250, right? So you look at that and you say, is it logical that I could get to 1250? Well, that's just in this area, right? You could probably get to 1450, right? And that'd be 4 times your risk, and that's all you do. So I think it's going to be Dvax. DAVX is what I'm going to put on. Again, we got another 5 minutes or so before Jess comes flying in here and kicks my ass. So while I load this up, there is a question here. It says, Holly's not doing the best right now. And that, again, that's because of these really choppy markets. Is it best to wait for it to recover? You could. Again, it's if you don't have a trading plan that talks about that, you have to do that. You have to get a trading plan that tells you what to do in these scenarios. For me, when it comes to day trading, I'm scalping right now. I'm doing a lot of in a day trade, out of day trade, in a day, right? Like just, you know, what did I trade frig. I don't remember what I traded. Let's do Viacom. That's the only one I remember that I traded very well. So I traded Viacom on this day. Let's zoom into. I just want to show you how kind of quick I'm being. 2 minutes. Yeah, it was this gap day, right? So we were wedging like this. So I was literally, I bought some in here and then I sold it up here. And then I bought some in here and I sold it up here. And then I bought a little bit more here. And when it broke, I switched short and I shorted it. And then I was out here, right? So you should see those buy sell tags on Trade Ideas at the end of the day. And I'm just doing it. And again, I don't recommend it for most people for the long run, but it's just the markets aren't giving you very much right now. So I'm not taking very much right now. So just shorten your time horizon. Look at how you manage Holly's trades. Now, if you're just doing exactly what Holly does, you're just turning the algo on and walking away, I would highly recommend not doing that. Again, robots, if there was a robot that could just churn out money every day, all day without you doing anything, no one's going to sell it to you for $200 a month, right? So the best people that I know that trade Holly, I could put myself in there because I trade Neo exclusively. I trade Neo's picks, but I manage all the exits and the scalping and everything myself. Is that you got to be there to manage the trade and focus on the market, right? So if you're long a bunch of stuff and you see the market turn, just punch out of those, maybe add into your shorts, and vice versa. If Holly's in a bunch of shorts and the market's rocketing, just get out of the shorts, right? So you have to be able to manage the trades yourself. If you want fully automated systems, again, go back on the channel. I have how to build those. You can do it, but you have to do it yourself. You just have to. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so last, before I take off in just a few minutes here, and again, I'm going to ask everyone to like, and I'm going to die a little bit inside when I do that. But YouTube sends me emails and says, hey, your channel would do a lot better if people liked your shit. So there you go. So Stats Edge trading product. So I'm working on this. It's still idea phase, and then I need to lock myself in a room and actually make it reality. So this is what I'm thinking. For $50 a month, no commitment. If you don't like it, you can just cancel, not ever pay again, leave. Again, I'm not doing this to try to get rich. I'm doing this because I like to do this kind of stuff, and if I can get paid to doing it, I'd be a bad trader if I didn't. That's just a note that a client gave me to make it very advanced, and it will be. It's not going to be for beginning traders. So I'm thinking just a slight weekly newsletter, paragraph, chart for people who can't make this stream, just summarizing what I'm talking about or what I'm looking at in the market. A Discord group. This one worries me because I'm going to need some moderators, because I am worried that there's going to be a Stats Edge Discord group and some asshole is going to come in and post something that's just heinous while I'm sleeping, and it will be there. So I like the concept as a community for you guys to chat with, but that worries me. My scans, I'm just going to create a Google Doc that I update all the time, and it will have all of the scans, the custom formulas, the logic behind the scans that I'm going to update in the background live in real time. If this support scan that I'm using now, I would put, this is the scan, this is the settings I use, this is how I use it, this is what I'm looking for, just so you can always be looking at the same things I am. It will include whatever layout I'm using at the time. And again, just update it. Monthly webinars for just paid members. It will be a Zoom call, so I'll be able to bring people into the room if they want to ask questions, if they want to talk about things. It will probably be an hour or two, and it will be just whatever you guys want to talk about. If there's nothing market related in terms of sports or comic books or whatever, who cares? But it will be like 1 hour with me for, again, a cap of 100 people. Chat about whatever you want. Access to my trading journal. So my trading journal will be trades that I took and why, changes that I'm making to my trading and why, again, basic things like that. And a private Twitter. So a Twitter, you see, if you guys follow me on Twitter, I say, hey, I'm looking at this trade for this reason. Basically what I'll do is I'll be tweeting that into the private Twitter to begin with, and then leave it there for a couple hours. And then maybe it will go, not all of them, but some of them will go onto the main Twitter just to help with promotion. So that is what I'm thinking for 50 US a month. So I don't need your guys' feedback right now, but plus people watching the video, please go to www.statsedgetrading.com. And let me put that here. Oops, 12 for some reason. It just copied 12. There, that website. You can click book a coaching session. You don't need to book a coaching session. This is just an easy way to email me. You can just fill these out, fire me an email. The email is also right here if you just want to email it directly. Sign up for my email list. As anyone will tell you who's on it, I'm not spamming you. I'm basically telling you when live streams are, and that's the list that's going to get, basically when I launch the product, I'm going to email that list first, and the people on that list are going to have access to get in first. And again, we're going to cap it at 100 and just say sorry to anyone who can't make it for now, right? I just want to have a relatively smaller group for maybe 6 months just to make sure everyone's happy and to get suggestions and to get, to hammer out all the details. And then I'll probably do maybe another 100 and then stop it. And then, again, I'm not looking to get huge here. I don't want to be you're not going to see me on YouTube advertisements next to Warrior Trading or anything like that. Also, things to look at on my website, again, while I'm here promoting it, I got this free trading course. It's me and my wife, 36 lessons, free, right? Always here, always free. From technical analysis, fundamental statistics, social, blah, 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 everything, risk management, all right here. Building a trading plan, 100% free. Again, will always be free because this is all information you can find other places. It's just me putting it together and then teaching it to someone who doesn't know how to trade. And then this is the only way I get paid from my website right now. I'm both an affiliate for TrendSpider and Trade Ideas. Couldn't live without this one. Really like this one if you're just looking for overall suggestions. If you sign up using those links, I get a few bucks. Everyone's happy. You get a few bucks. I get a few bucks. Suggestions, daily recap, tweet, blog, short video. Yeah, I'm thinking of doing that on the Twitter too. Doing what's it called, a fleet, where I just do, hey, this is what I think about the market today. This is what I think we may do tomorrow, and that will all be on the private Twitter account for members only. So that's it for me today. So again, the ticker, if you don't want to watch the short video that will come out a little later, is Dvax, DVAX. DVAX. And I'm interested kind of over this area. If we can get going, stop's going to be worst case under here. Tight one would be under here. And, all right, again, hopefully this 25% short float makes something cool happen for us. So that's it, guys. I got to get going. There's dogs outside. Friends brought over dogs. Everyone's running around having a good time, and I'm in here talking to my computer screen. So thank you, everyone, for coming out. I appreciate it. More to come, more live streams. I'll hammer out the product. Sign up for the email list if you're interested. You'll be the first ones to get a crack at it. I'm not popular enough that I don't think you have to worry about 100 slots popping up, but just in case. Talk to you guys soon. Trade safe out there. It is a rougher market than normal, so just take your time. The volatility will come back at some point. And have a good one.